and welcome to episode 31 of the Dittmer Knittery podcast. My name is Bev, and you can find more information about me and Dittmer Knittery in the description box down below. My videos are probably going to be different. I talked about, I believe on my last video, that I'm working full-time for the first time in over a year. I'm very grateful to be back at work and to have the particular job that I was able to get. So I've been on my job a week, 5 days, and everything is going very, very well. Of course, it's just like initiation time. I don't have a lot of duties or responsibilities yet. I'm just getting my feet under me and working with quite a pleasant crew. As I mentioned, I have returned to a university where I used to work before. Now, I'm not in the same department. I don't have the same coworkers. I'm in a totally different department, but I am able to see my former coworkers that are still there on campus, and that has been a huge pleasure for me. I have still been doing quite a bit of knitting. I've been making hats. I've been crocheting too, but I have been knitting hats, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, is the hats I've been making. I've been making quite a few hats, and I have some finished ones I'd like to show you. This first hat I have to show you was special ordered by a former coworker from another place I worked, another college I worked at in Colorado. So she already has her hat, and she was kind enough to take some pictures of herself wearing it, and I think these pictures speak for themselves. I believe she was quite happy. A very good friend from high school saw my hats on Facebook, and she messaged me, and she ordered 3 hats and paid for them. So that was kind of one of my first priorities. Once she did that, that was, I put aside the other hats I had been working on, and I began to work on her hats, and I finished 2 of them. I'm still working on sizing, so I made one that turned out a little bit too small, and then I made another one. So this one's not embellished yet, but this is a large gray and black hat. She asked for a gray hat with a black band and flowers on it. She said any flowers, so I think I'm going to put some blue and yellow flowers. We'll see how that looks when I get started. And I'll try to remember to show it to you before I send it off to her when it's completed. And then I have finished 2 of her hats. And I may have shown this one before. Now that I'm showing it, I think maybe you have seen this one before. And both of these hats that I've just shown you are Patton's Classic Wool or something very like that. And then she asked for a gray hat with a green band with daisies. Had a lot of fun making these daisies. These daisies are needle felted with yarn. Some of the centers of the daisies are made from batting, and the leaves are made from batting, but the stems and the petals of the daisies are needle felted on there with yarn. And I'm pretty happy with that one. So I hope in the next few days, maybe I'll even start on it this evening, that I'll have that third hat, the first one I showed you with the black band, that I'll have that ready, and I'll be ready to send them off to her very soon. So that was really exciting. She was a very close friend. I've known her for a long time. I think I met her in grade school. I was trying to remember if we met each other in grade school, but we for sure went through all of junior high and high school together, and haven't been very good about keeping in touch, but she's been messaging me a bit now and then lately, and I've really enjoyed reconnecting with her. So that's been a lot of fun. And then I made 2 hats simply because the yarn told me to make hats. So, this really happens, that I was wanting to make a hat, and I was looking at the yarn, And I knew I wanted to start with one strand of palette yarn and put something else with it. So I had this Kid Silk Haze on my shelf. Here's what's left of it. I think that I'm going to use this to make part of as an accent on another hat, because you'll see in just a minute how nicely it turned out. So I held that together. I'm sorry, I dropped the hat. I held that together with a strand of green palette yarn, and I made this hat. And I think it's pretty fabulous. It's quite fuzzy because of the Kid Silk Haze has mohair in it. Let's see, I should read the specifications for you so you know what's in Kid Silk Haze. 70% super kid mohair, 30% silk. And so the mohair's quite fuzzy, the silk felts a bit, and you get this lovely effect. Quite a nice, very fun looking hat. That's going to be a lot of fun. Nice hat. I'm very happy with that result. And then again, starting with the palette yarn, because I'm familiar with it and I know it felts reliably. I'm used to working with it, and I know it's good to use it with other things, because the palette yarn, you know, is like the foundation. I know I'm starting with something good, and I put the other yarn with it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be pleased with what I get. So next was some new yarn that had come in that really was insisting on being used. I mean, it really was insisting on being used. And that was this Apache Light. Northland Apache Light, 100% wool from Hirschner's. I did not purchase this from Hirschner's. I got it online. I don't recall, from a third party. And I suspected that although it says 100% wool, I don't know if you can see it, but it does say 100% wool. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to felt like the palette, that it wasn't going to felt like wool usually does. And I was right. So this is the hat I made. It's a very, very nice hat. I really like how that came out. So I used the Apache Light with off-white palette yarn, got this effect. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty clear that that Apache yarn did not felt like the palette did. You can see those orange bumps. See the bumps? Pink that bumps. That's the Apache Light yarn not felting thoroughly. So the palette yarn felted, the hat shrank. It's a great hat. There's nothing wrong with the hat, nothing wrong with what happened. I just want you to see this result of this yarn that's not felting. And I can't say, you know, if it didn't felt at all, and that's what caused these bumps, if it partially felted, but I do know that that's what this is, that bumpy texture is an indication. I mean, you can see that it's bits of yarn. You can, I was going to say you can see, yeah, you can see it even better on the wrong side, that's little bits of yarn sticking out there that's not felted. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I love the hat. I love the effect. But the fact is, this yarn that is marketed as 100% wool, hand wash, dry flat, this is not 100% wool, because if it were, it would felt. So, probably my next video, hopefully next week, will be about yarn. And that's why I ended with this section about this particular hat, to show you this example of a yarn that's marketed as 100% wool that does not felt like wool. Now, in my experience, and I've been felting for probably close to 10 years. The majority of the products that I buy that are labeled 100% wool felt. They felt. Anything wool that I've worked with that I've tried to felt has felted. Occasionally I run across something, and this is very rare, I run across something that's called wool that doesn't felt, and I know it's not wool. It's superwash is what I think, is that it's been treated to be like a superwash. But I'm going to save the rest of my comments about yarn for the next video, because I've been making notes and really thinking about this subject and how I want to approach it. So that's what we have to look forward to. I hope all of you are doing well. I miss you. I do think about you while I'm at work. And I hope I am going to be able to spend time with you because you are a priority to me and you are important to me, each and every one of you. I appreciate you watching. Please comment and email and keep in touch. And I will see you on the next video.